There's a common fruit likely present in your pantry or fruit bowl right now that often goes unnoticed. It appears harmless, unassuming, a staple of many households, yet for individuals over the age of 60, it holds a subtle but significant danger. This seemingly innocent item can gradually damage the brain, progressively worsening memory function, and, without you even realizing it, inching you closer to the risk of dementia. What's truly striking is that the vast majority of people continue to perceive this fruit as a healthy dietary choice. However, in my practice here in Spain, I've witnessed firsthand how the lives of numerous patients undergo a remarkable transformation when they eliminate this supposedly good fruit from their daily consumption. I am Dr. Carlos Mendez, and for over 25 years, I have dedicated my work to assisting men and women over 60 in reclaiming their energy, sharpening their mental clarity, and, most importantly, safeguarding their brains from the insidious progression of cognitive decline. Throughout my extensive career, a simple yet profoundly powerful truth has become abundantly clear. When we cease to consume whatever is readily available and instead begin to intentionally select our foods with specific health goals in mind, the brain responds swiftly and unequivocally. It's a remarkable organ that thrives on proper nutrition, and its decline is often accelerated by dietary habits that seem benign on the surface. This video serves an exclusively informational purpose and should, under no circumstances, be considered a substitute for the professional evaluation or treatment provided by your general practitioner or a specialist. This is a topic rarely discussed, yet it is critically important. Not all fruits are suitable for an aging brain. Some varieties can trigger sharp spikes in blood sugar, intensify systemic inflammation, and progressively damage the delicate neural connections that are absolutely essential for recalling names, sustaining attention, or effectively slowing the advance of conditions like dementia. Conversely, there exists an equally vital category of fruits that achieve precisely the opposite effect. These beneficial fruits actively support the regeneration of the brain's intricate network of blood vessels, offer robust protection to neurons, and help to preserve memory function as the years go by. In this comprehensive video, I will outline 5 specific fruits that are advisable to avoid once you reach 65, and, crucially, 5 other fruits that are exceptionally worthwhile to incorporate into your daily diet. If your goal is to maintain a keen mind, keep your memory as intact as possible, and preserve your independence for many years to come, I urge you to stay with me until the very end, as the final fruit on the list has been instrumental in helping many of my patients experience significant improvements in mental clarity and memory in a matter of just a few weeks. Before we delve into the details, if you are over 60 and hold concerns about your brain health, your memory, and your autonomy, I warmly invite you to subscribe to this channel. Here, I consistently share practical advice, firmly rooted in scientific evidence, meticulously tailored to the specific needs of individuals in your age group. Should you have an interest in other related health topics, please feel free to leave your suggestions in the comment section below, as this helps me consider them for future videos. Now, let us begin with the first fruit you should actively endeavor to avoid. This may come as quite a surprise to many. It typically comes packaged in small, brightly colored containers that are remarkably easy to open. Many older adults routinely consume these products, sometimes even alongside their breakfast medication, believing them to be a convenient and healthy option. Yet, this seemingly innocent daily habit could be subtly sabotaging your memory without your explicit awareness. I am referring to fruit cocktails in syrup and explaining why they have become a deceptive sweet trap for the aging brain. 1. Fruit cocktails in syrup, the sweet trap for older adults. These conveniently packaged containers, filled with soft, vibrantly colored fruit pieces, have become a preferred snack for many individuals over the age of 60. They are perceived as effortless to consume and appear undeniably healthy due to their fruit content. However, beneath this convenient facade lies a significant and often overlooked risk to mental well-being. The core issue isn't solely with the fruit itself. It's profoundly linked to the heavy syrup that envelops it. The vast majority of these fruit cocktails are immersed in syrups extraordinarily rich in fructose or in highly concentrated fruit juices, both of which are essentially brimming with simple sugars. When these concentrated sugars enter your system, particularly when consumed on an empty stomach or on a repetitive daily basis, they trigger an abrupt and pronounced spike in blood glucose levels. What precisely transpires within the body during such a sugar surge? Insulin production rapidly increases as the pancreas attempts to manage the influx of sugar. Concurrently, the delicate lining of your blood vessels becomes inflamed, and perhaps most alarmingly, for cognitive health, there is a significant decrease in the production of nitric oxide and other crucial substances that are vital for protecting your neurons. This is not merely an opinion. Scientific research unequivocally confirms these detrimental effects. Numerous studies have established a clear correlation between the regular consumption of high fructose syrups and an accelerated rate of cognitive deterioration, increased inflammation within the brain, and a heightened risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. Unlike fresh fruit, which naturally comes bundled with dietary fiber that slows sugar absorption, fruit suspended in syrup delivers a direct and uncontrolled surge of free sugar into your bloodstream. This relentless onslaught gradually damages the synaptic connections between neurons, the very connections that are fundamental for maintaining a robust and reliable memory. In my clinical practice, I have observed this phenomenon many times. I vividly recall the case of Carmen, a 72-year-old woman who, for over a decade, had habitually started her mornings with a cup of fruit in syrup. She came to me expressing profound concern because she frequently forgot simple errands and described feeling a persistent mental heaviness, as if it were increasingly difficult to follow conversations with her grandchildren. When we meticulously reviewed her dietary habits, it became evident that those convenient little packages were a significant part of the problem. Upon removing them from her diet and replacing them with fresh, naturally less sugary fruits, her family noticed a remarkable improvement in Carmen's cognitive function in just a single month. She appeared more alert, displayed a noticeably better mood, and experienced significantly enhanced mental clarity. It is crucial to be aware that even versions labeled in its own juice or no added sugar can often be misleading. These products typically still contain fruits with very little natural fiber, having spent months preserved in a metal container and subjected to various treatments designed solely to maintain their aesthetic appearance. The outcome remains largely the same: a reduced intake of brain protective nutrients and a pronounced negative impact on memory function. For these reasons, my recommendation is straightforward and firm. Absolutely avoid fruit cocktails and syrup, and instead opt for whole, fresh fruits, ideally with their skins intact, to ensure you provide genuine nourishment to your brain rather than inadvertently harming it. And if you believe the issue is confined solely to canned fruits, prepare to be surprised by what occurs with industrial fruit juices and even natural juices when consumed in excess, as these often conceal some of the most damaging glucose spikes for the neurons located in the hippocampus, the crucial brain region responsible for memory formation and recall. 2. Fruit juices. The sugar rush disguised as healthy food. Fruit juices are aggressively marketed as the convenient and natural way to kickstart your morning. Their colorful packaging often promises an immediate boost of energy and an abundance of essential vitamins. Consequently, many individuals over the age of 60 continue to firmly believe that a glass of orange juice or any other fruit juice is the optimal accompaniment to their breakfast. Even those who painstakingly prepare fresh juice at home often feel a sense of accomplishment, convinced they are engaging in a supremely healthy habit. However, the stark reality is that both industrially processed juices and even naturally prepared juices, when consumed excessively, deliver a direct and potent sugar assault on a brain that is already inherently more vulnerable due to the natural progression of aging. The fundamental difference lies in the presence, or rather the absence, of fiber. When you consume an entire orange, for instance, its pulp and the white pith beneath the peel work synergistically to slow down the rate at which sugar enters your bloodstream, providing a more controlled energy release. But when you extract the juice, this vital fiber is virtually eliminated, and what reaches your body is a rapid, uncontrolled torrent of free sugar. This process inevitably leads to an abrupt and elevated glucose peak, followed by a sharp surge in insulin. Over many years, this repeated cycle contributes significantly to inflammation within the delicate blood vessels that supply the brain. The unfortunate consequences of this chronic inflammation are manifold: increased memory problems, a noticeable decline in concentration abilities, and an elevated risk of generalized cognitive deterioration. This is not a theoretical assumption. It has been rigorously demonstrated through scientific investigation. Studies have consistently shown that individuals who consume fruit juices frequently tend to exhibit a smaller hippocampus, the critical brain region I mentioned earlier, which is intricately involved in memory function. To put it simply, the more juice you consume, the easier it becomes to forget recent events, to repeat questions you've just asked, or to experience that disheartening sensation of your mind simply fading out. I personally witnessed this with Miguel, a 70-year-old patient who, for years, consumed 2 large glasses of orange juice every single morning, convinced that he was diligently safeguarding his vitamin C intake. He came to me distressed, reporting instances of distraction while driving and forgetting basic errands. His blood glucose levels were consistently at the high end of the normal range, and he was bewildered as to why. Given his seemingly healthy diet, I advised him to eliminate all juices and instead consume whole fruits like apples or kiwis. The change in his condition was remarkably swift. Within a month, he reported that the persistent mental fog he had experienced every morning had completely dissipated, and he felt significantly clearer-headed. It's important to understand that even juices that proudly declare themselves to be 100% natural or without added sugar can still be highly deceptive. A small bottle of such juice can easily contain the sugar equivalent of 3 or 4 whole oranges, a quantity that virtually no one would consume in one sitting. The brain, however, receives this sugar avalanche without any of the natural protection provided by fiber. Therefore, my recommendation is exceedingly simple. Limit your consumption of fruit juices to an absolute minimum. If you choose to drink them, do so only occasionally and in very small quantities. Always remember that what truly protects your brain is not the fruit's sugar content, but rather its fiber, its potent antioxidants, and the myriad of other beneficial compounds that are exclusively present when you consume the fruit in its entirety. And if you think fruit juices are the primary adversaries of your memory, prepare to hear what happens with dates, raisins, and other highly sugary dried fruits, items many people mistakenly consider healthy, but which can actually be one of the quickest ways to damage your brain. 3. Sugary dried fruits. The sweetest deception for your memory. A handful of raisins as a mid-afternoon snack, a few dates after a meal, or 1 or 2 dried figs before bedtime might initially appear to be a more natural and wholesome alternative to processed sweets. Indeed, they are small, incredibly convenient, easy to carry, and seem utterly innocuous. However, in reality, by consuming these, you are delivering a highly concentrated dose of sugar directly to your brain, a dose that can significantly accelerate cognitive deterioration. The fundamental problem lies in the fact that dried fruits are, by their very nature, fresh fruits, from which most of the water has been removed. This process dramatically concentrates the fruit's natural sugars into a remarkably small volume. To put this into perspective, a single cup of raisins can contain more sugar than an entire can of soda. Furthermore, unlike fresh fruit, dried fruits arrive in your system with very little fiber, meaning there's almost nothing to slow down their rapid absorption. What then ensues when these concentrated sugars enter your body? A rapid and pronounced spike in blood glucose levels occurs, followed by an equally sharp surge in insulin. This initiates a chain reaction of inflammation that directly impacts the delicate structures of your brain. What is even more concerning is that many commercially available versions of dried fruits not only retain their naturally concentrated sugar, but are also frequently coated with additional syrups, oils, or preservatives such as sulfites. These added ingredients further complicate the issue. They can actively hinder the absorption of essential minerals like zinc and magnesium, both of which are absolutely fundamental for proper brain function. In essence, you are not only overloading your mind with an excessive amount of glucose, but simultaneously stripping away some of the crucial defenses that should be protecting your precious neurons. I have had patients who routinely consumed dates every single night, genuinely believing that this habit would help them sleep better. What they were unaware of was that those dates were keeping their blood glucose levels elevated for hours on end, thereby preventing their brain from achieving the restorative phases of deep sleep and blocking the release of hormones responsible for cellular repair. The unfortunate result was that they woke up feeling perpetually tired, with a persistent mental fogginess and progressively accumulating more frequent small memory lapses. The impact isn't limited solely to memory. The excessive sugar content in dried fruits also significantly influences mood. Several individuals have reported to me that after consuming too many raisins or figs, they experience a noticeable emotional dip, an increase in sadness, or a general sense of apathy. This emotional shift is directly attributable to the changes in brain chemistry brought about by chronically elevated glucose levels. This is precisely why I emphasize so strongly that, despite being marketed as healthy, dried fruits must be treated for what they truly are: concentrated sweets. If your objective is to safeguard your memory and cognitive health, it is imperative to avoid them altogether, or, at the very least, consume them in exceedingly small quantities and only on rare, occasional instances. Do not allow them to become a daily habit. And if you believe dried fruits pose a significant problem, wait until you hear what happens with some highly sweet tropical fruits, such as mango or ripe pineapple. They may appear fresh and natural, but if consumed in excess, they can quietly become a silent adversary to your memory. 4. Very sweet tropical fruits, the sugar overload that intoxicates your memory. Fruits like ripe mango, very sweet pineapple, or the sweetest varieties of papaya often evoke delightful images of summer, refreshing coolness, and vibrant health. Many individuals over 60 consciously incorporate these into their diets, firmly convinced that they are excellent sources of essential vitamins. And while it is true that these fruits do contribute valuable nutrients, what almost nobody takes into account is that, when consumed in excessive quantities, they can impose an unacceptably high sugar burden on a brain that is already more susceptible to the effects of aging. A single large mango, for example, can easily provide over 40 grams of sugar, an amount equivalent to several spoonfuls of granulated table sugar. When such a substantial quantity of fructose and glucose suddenly floods your system, the body's response is immediate and impactful. You experience a rapid surge in insulin, a notable increase in inflammation within the delicate blood vessels that nourish the brain, and significant alterations in neuronal metabolism. Over time, this repetitive process can lead to insulin resistance within the brain itself. This means that your neurons become less efficient at utilizing energy, a dysfunction that directly translates into increased mental fatigue, more frequent episodes of forgetfulness, and a heightened risk of overall cognitive decline. I recall the case of Rosa, a 68-year-old patient who adored tropical fruit smoothies and meticulously prepared one with mango and pineapple every single afternoon. She genuinely believed she was nurturing her brain with vitamins. However, during our consultations, she reported a growing sense of mental fogginess, difficulty organizing even simple tasks, and a tendency to forget appointments with her friends. When we thoroughly reviewed her diet, it became clear that she was consuming far more sugar than her aging brain could effectively tolerate. Upon reducing these daily smoothies and substituting them with fruits naturally lower in sugar, such as apples and kiwis, she noticed a profound difference in just a month. Her mind felt significantly lighter, and her memory became much more stable and reliable. The concerning aspect here is that starting around the age of 60, our metabolism generally slows down, and the brain becomes considerably more sensitive to oxidative stress. Therefore, what might have a negligible effect on a younger person can transform into a genuine risk to an older adult's memory and cognitive function. However, it is important to clarify that this does not imply you must eliminate these fruits from your diet forever. If you enjoy them, you can certainly consume them occasionally, always in small portions, and ideally alongside foods rich in fiber or protein. These accompanying foods help to mitigate the rapid rise in blood sugar, making the consumption less impactful. What is absolutely not advisable, however, is to allow them to become a daily habit, and even less so in the form of smoothies or excessively large servings, as this approach will undoubtedly overload your memory and accelerate cognitive deterioration. And if these sweet tropical fruits already pose a risk, wait until you hear what happens with the very popular summer fruit, watermelon. While refreshing, light, and seemingly harmless when it is very ripe, it can also become a silent enemy of your memory. Note, the original script segues here to snack fruits, so I will follow that for point 5. 5. Processed fruit snacks, the ultra-processed threat to your memory. In many supermarket aisles, you'll encounter fruit snacks presented as a modern, light, and guilt-free option. Think banana chips, dried apple slices, crispy mango strips, all conveniently packaged in colorful bags that promise natural goodness and a healthy snack. Understandably, many individuals over the age of 60 fall into this trap, genuinely believing these products are a superior choice compared to traditional cookies or candies. However, the unequivocal truth is that these products are not real fruit in the healthful sense. They are ultra-processed items that can actively damage memory and accelerate the overall aging process of the brain. The primary problem lies in their manufacturing process. The vast majority of these fruit snacks are fried in refined vegetable oils, such as palm oil or industrial sunflower oil. When these types of oils are subjected to high temperatures, they undergo oxidation, generating inflammatory compounds that travel through the bloodstream and ultimately reach the brain. Once in the brain, these compounds cause inflammation in the neurons, disrupt the vital communication pathways between them, and consequently promote cognitive deterioration. In simpler terms, what appears to be a light and healthy snack is, in reality, a potent cocktail of harmful fats that gradually intoxicate your mind. And the detrimental effects do not end there. In addition to being fried in problematic oils, many of these fruit snacks also contain added sugars, various syrups, or industrial honey to enhance their sweetness and make them more palatable and addictive. This means you're not only dealing with the inflammatory effects of oxidized fats, but also experiencing even more intense glucose spikes. It's a double blow to your memory. On one hand, the excessive sugar wears down neural connections, and on the other, the processed fats cause inflammation throughout the brain. I recall Teresa, a 71-year-old patient who proudly informed me that she had stopped eating cookies because she now always carried a bag of banana chips in her purse. Shortly thereafter, she began complaining about forgetting words and experiencing a persistent sensation of mental heaviness. When we reviewed the product label together, we discovered that those healthy banana chips contained over 30% palm oil and significant amounts of added sugar. I advised her to eliminate them entirely and substitute them with fresh, whole fruit. A month later, she reported feeling much more mentally clear and experienced significantly less fatigue. This is the message I consistently reiterate. Fresh fruit does not require frying, sweetening, or packaging in a bag to be considered healthy. When fruit is transformed into chips, it ceases to be a genuine fruit and instead becomes an ultra-processed product that actively sabotages your memory and overall brain health. With this, we conclude our discussion on the 5 fruits that, unfortunately, can detrimentally impact your brain after the age of 60. Now, let us turn our attention to what is truly important: the fruits that possess the remarkable ability to protect your neurons, enhance blood circulation to the brain, and actively assist you in maintaining your memory intact for many more years. The first of these powerful allies is small, boasts a deep blue color, and is supported by decades of rigorous scientific research. 1. Blueberries, the natural defense for your memory. Small, intensely blue, and with a delicate touch of acidity, blueberries may initially appear to be a simple fruit. However, within their unassuming form lies an enormous power for the brain. Many researchers affectionately refer to them as the memory fruit, and this designation is far from coincidental. Blueberries are absolutely packed with anthocyanins, which are natural compounds belonging to the flavonoid family. These potent substances act as an authentic shield, providing robust protection against the relentless forces of brain aging. As we age, the brain is continuously assailed by two primary adversaries: oxidative stress and inflammation. Both of these processes cause damage to neurons, progressively weaken the vital connections between them, and accelerate the onset and progression of memory problems. The rich concentration of anthocyanins found in blueberries plays a crucial role in neutralizing this cellular damage, thereby enabling brain cells to function more optimally and communicate with significantly greater efficiency. Scientific studies have consistently demonstrated that older adults who incorporate blueberries into their diet on a regular basis experience tangible improvements in memory recall, enhanced attention spans, and greater overall mental clarity within just a few weeks of consistent consumption. And the most compelling aspect is that this isn't merely a fleeting, momentary effect. In the long term, the regular intake of blueberries contributes significantly to the protection of the hippocampus, which is the specific part of the brain responsible for storing our memories and facilitating the learning of new information. In my own clinical practice, I observe these positive outcomes quite frequently. Consider Andres, a 74-year-old man who was deeply concerned because he frequently forgot where he had placed his keys and found it increasingly challenging to follow the news on television. I advised him to consume half a cup of fresh blueberries every morning, whether mixed with natural yogurt or blended into an unsweetened smoothie. 3 months later, he reported feeling much more mentally alert, recalling things with greater ease, and even felt more confident and secure when engaging in conversations with friends. Furthermore, blueberries offer another significant advantage. They are naturally low in sugar and exceptionally rich in dietary fiber. This beneficial combination ensures that they do not cause abrupt spikes in blood glucose levels, a critical factor for brain health. Instead, they provide a steady and nourishing supply of energy to the brain without destabilizing its delicate internal environment. For these reasons, I consistently assert that if there is one fruit that unquestionably deserves a permanent place in the refrigerator of any person over 60 who is committed to protecting their memory, it is undoubtedly the blueberry. It represents a small, easy habit that, over time, can yield an immensely significant difference in cognitive well-being. And while blueberries diligently protect your neurons from damage, the next fruit accomplishes something equally essential. It significantly improves circulation to the brain, ensuring that your neurons consistently receive the optimal supply of oxygen and vital nutrients they require to remain active, vibrant, and fully functional. I am referring to the pomegranate. 2. Pomegranate, the ally of your brain circulation. The pomegranate is a fascinating fruit that many individuals tend to overlook, often due to unfamiliarity with how to effectively consume it. However, within each of its glistening ruby-red arils lies a veritable treasure trove of health benefits, particularly for the aging brain. Its fresh, subtly tart flavor is merely the beginning of its remarkable properties. What truly matters is the profound positive impact it has within your body. Pomegranate stands out as one of the fruits most abundantly rich in polyphenols, a powerful class of antioxidants, and specifically in unique compounds known as punicolagens. These extraordinary compounds exert their beneficial effects directly directly on the delicate blood vessels throughout your body, including those supplying your brain. They actively help to relax these vessels, thereby significantly improving blood flow. When blood circulates more efficiently, the brain receives a more robust supply of oxygen and essential nutrients, precisely what it needs to maintain a clear, sharp memory and agile, fluid thought processes. As we advance in years, the arteries responsible for delivering blood to the brain naturally tend to become more rigid and narrower. This reduction in blood supply, or lack of proper irrigation, is one of the primary factors contributing to cognitive deterioration and the development of vascular dementia. The pomegranate acts as a powerful natural protector against this age-related process, diligently maintaining the flexibility and elasticity of your blood vessels while simultaneously reducing the inflammation that can damage them. I have observed remarkably clear results in my practice. Dolores, a 69-year-old woman, frequently experienced memory lapses and described feeling a persistent, heavy head. I advised her to consume half a cup of pomegranate arils daily, whether incorporated into salads, mixed with yogurt, or simply eaten on their own. 2 months later, she reported feeling a significant increase in energy, found it much easier to follow conversations, and had even rediscovered her enjoyment of reading because she no longer lost her train of thought so easily. But the benefits of pomegranate do not end there. It also possesses a potent antioxidant effect that actively helps to neutralize the damaging impact of free radicals within the brain, offering further cellular protection. Moreover, studies have even noted improvements in memory and attention in older adults who regularly consume pure, unsweetened pomegranate juice. It is important, however, to exercise caution with commercial pomegranate products. Many bottled juices are unfortunately blended with added sugars or other overly sweet fruit juices, which can significantly reduce or even entirely negate the therapeutic benefits of the pomegranate itself. The ideal approach is to consume the fresh fruit directly, or, if preferred, to prepare a small glass of natural, unsweetened juice at home without adding anything else. And if pomegranate is the fruit that excels at improving blood circulation to the brain, the next fruit delivers essential nutrients directly to your neurons, strengthening their structure and helping them communicate with greater clarity and efficiency. I am referring to the apple. 3. Apple, the everyday fruit that protects your neurons. At first glance, the apple might seem like just another common fruit, so ubiquitous that it often passes unnoticed in our daily lives. Yet, the humble apple, particularly when consumed with its skin intact, stands as one of the most formidable allies for an aging brain. Its benefits extend beyond its well-known dietary fiber, residing significantly in a powerful compound called quercetin, which is predominantly concentrated in the apple's skin. Quercetin is an exceptionally potent antioxidant that directly targets and combats both inflammation and oxidative damage within the brain. These two processes, chronic inflammation and oxidative stress, are critically implicated in the premature deterioration of neurons and the gradual decline of memory function as we age. Consuming an apple with its skin is akin to placing a protective shield over your brain, actively defending it against this silent, ongoing wear and tear. Furthermore, the apple's soluble fiber plays a crucial role in maintaining stable blood glucose levels. This stability is absolutely key, as erratic glucose spikes are recognized as one of the major adversaries of memory and overall brain health. A brain that receives a consistent and stable supply of energy performs significantly better, remembers more effectively, maintains concentration with greater ease, and preserves its mental clarity for an extended period. I vividly recall Vicente, a 75-year-old patient who began to feel increasingly worried because he consistently forgot half of his shopping list every time he went to the store. When we reviewed his dietary habits, we observed that he rarely consumed whole fruits, but instead ate a considerable amount of white bread and biscuits. I recommended that he incorporate 1 apple per day into his diet, always ensuring to eat it with the skin. In just a few weeks, he reported feeling less absent-minded, noted an improvement in his digestion, and even experienced more energy in the afternoons. One of the greatest advantages of the apple is its widespread accessibility, economic affordability, and the sheer ease with which it can be incorporated into one's daily routine. You can enjoy it on its own, slice it into salads, pair it with unsweetened nuts, or layer it onto natural yogurt. The crucial aspect, however, is not to peel it, as the skin is where the vast majority of its protective antioxidants are concentrated. So, when considering your daily fruit intake, remember that this common fruit holds uncommon power for your brain. And while the apple strengthens your brain through a daily, accessible routine, the next fruit offers something that few others can match: an extraordinarily high dose of vitamin C, one of the most important antioxidants for supporting and protecting your neurons. I am referring to the kiwi. 4. Kiwi, the green antioxidant that protects your neurons. Small, with a distinctively fuzzy, rough skin and a vibrant, intensely green interior, the kiwi might not always be the most popular fruit, particularly among individuals over 60. However, it is an authentic nutritional treasure, especially for brain health. Its formidable strength lies in its exceptionally high content of vitamin C, a nutrient that is absolutely essential for shielding neurons from the damaging effects of oxidative stress. As the years progress, the brain naturally accumulates more free radicals, tiny, unstable molecules that cause cellular damage to nerve cells and disrupt their delicate connections. Vitamin C acts as a powerful antioxidant shield, diligently neutralizing this oxidative damage and maintaining neurons in a much healthier state. Consequently, when vitamin C levels are adequate within the body, memory function, concentration abilities, and the capacity for learning are all preserved and sustained for longer periods. Here, the kiwi truly excels, as it provides more vitamin C than an orange in the same quantity of fruit, making it an incredibly efficient source. Moreover, the kiwi plays a vital role in facilitating the absorption of other key minerals such as iron, zinc, and magnesium, all of which are fundamental for a brain that operates correctly and efficiently. Without sufficient levels of these crucial minerals, neurons lose their strength, the communication between them becomes slower and less effective, and mental clarity gradually begins to diminish. I witnessed this firsthand with Julia, a 70-year-old woman who came to my clinic distressed because she found it increasingly difficult to recall people's names and felt perpetually tired throughout the day. Upon reviewing her diet, I discovered that she consumed very few fruits rich in vitamin C. I proposed that she incorporate 2 kiwis into her daily diet, one in the morning and another in the mid-afternoon. A month later, she reported a significant increase in energy, a noticeable improvement in her mood, and she no longer experienced the frustrating, blanking out moments when conversing with her friends. The kiwi offers yet another critical advantage. It actively helps to reduce cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. When cortisol levels are consistently elevated, it acts as a direct enemy of memory because it causes damage to the hippocampus, the brain region specifically responsible for storing and retrieving memories. By helping to lower cortisol, the kiwi not only physically protects the brain, but also contributes positively to mood regulation and promotes more restorative nocturnal sleep. For all these compelling reasons, I consistently recommend incorporating kiwi into your diet on a regular basis. It can be enjoyed simply sliced, blended into natural unsweetened smoothies, and even consumed with its skin, which is edible and remarkably rich in fiber, provided it is thoroughly washed. And if the kiwi provides essential antioxidants, the next fruit offers something that very few others possess: healthy fats that directly nourish the membranes of brain cells, helping them to function with greater clarity, resilience, and overall efficiency. I am referring to the avocado. 5. Avocado, the healthy fat for a clear mind. This is precisely where the avocado transforms into an exceptional ally for those who have already surpassed the age of 60. Its abundance of healthy fats, particularly monounsaturated fatty acids, plays a crucial role in maintaining the membranes of your neurons in a state of optimal flexibility and resilience. This structural integrity allows for clearer, faster, and significantly more efficient communication between the myriad cells of your brain. In addition to its beneficial fat profile, the avocado is richly endowed with vitamin E, one of the most thoroughly researched antioxidants known for its remarkable capacity to protect the brain from the detrimental effects of oxidative stress. Various scientific investigations have consistently observed that older adults who maintain adequate levels of vitamin E exhibit less cognitive deterioration over time compared to their peers. Another significant advantage of the avocado is its contribution to maintaining excellent cardiovascular health. And as you are well aware, what benefits the heart undeniably also benefits the brain. A stable, unobstructed flow of blood ensures that your neurons consistently receive the vital oxygen and essential nutrients they require to function at their peak. In my clinical practice, I have recommended avocado many times, particularly to patients who describe feeling mentally sluggish in the mornings. Or those who notice a persistent difficulty in concentrating. A modest portion, such as half an avocado per day, can be entirely sufficient to observe noticeable improvements in mental energy and enhanced clarity when making decisions. It is also an incredibly versatile fruit. You can easily add it to a fresh salad, spread a thin layer onto a piece of whole grain toast, mix it with diced tomatoes and a squeeze of lemon juice for a refreshing side, or incorporate it into a cold dish. The important consideration is to avoid overindulging in large quantities because although its fats are unequivocally healthy, they are still calorie dense. Therefore, consuming approximately half an avocado per day represents a balanced and appropriate quantity for the majority of older adults aiming to enhance their brain health. With this, we conclude our exploration of the 5 fruits that actively protect your memory, strengthen your neurons, and empower you to maintain a clear and active mind for many years to come. These are simple, accessible, and easily incorporated foods into your daily life, yet their cumulative impact on your cognitive health can be profoundly significant. If you have stayed with me until this point, I sincerely congratulate you. Taking proactive steps to care for your memory is a profound demonstration of intelligence, an act of self-love, and a testament to your responsibility towards maintaining your independence as you age. Always remember that small, consistent actions, repeated diligently each day, possess the power to make an enormous and positive difference in how you feel, how clearly you think, and how effectively your mind functions. If this video has helped you gain a better understanding of which fruits protect your brain and which ones might be unknowingly harming it, I warmly invite you to leave a comment below, sharing what dietary changes you plan to try this week. I would be genuinely delighted to read your insights, and please do not forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. Here, we consistently share clear, practical, and evidence-based advice designed to help you maintain your memory, your vitality, and your precious autonomy for many more fulfilling years.